Hello YouTube, welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm gonna make a Drake tier list. I will make a Souls tier list if I see some interest through likes and views on this video. So if you want to see me make a tier list for the different Souls in League, then let me know by leaving a like on this video and comment, hey, I wanna see a Souls tier list. But back to this video, Drake tier list. This tier list is for a basic team composition that you would see in solo queue. Obviously all of these Drakes are stronger or weaker with certain team comps or against certain team comps, but just for a regular standard draft, this will be my tier list for the different Drakes. Starting off with Elder Drake, obviously being on top, most OP buff in the game probably. At least for fighting, that is, with execution damage, but start off with the real Drakes. First up, Mountain Drake. I want to put Mountain Drake in B tier, just because the bonus armor and magic resist is nice, but if you pick it up in the early game, not that many champions are going to buy any type of magic resist or armor, except if you're playing a tank. Obviously, some people are going to buy tab eyes and merc threads, but in terms of getting actual full magic resistant armor items, I feel like that tends to happen a little bit later into the game. So I don't really rate Mountain Drake that highly, but decent Drake to start off with. Then we have Ocean Drake. Now I want to put Ocean Drake in A tier, because even if you pick up this Drake in the early game, it can help you in the laning phase. Just being able to regenerate more health than the enemy just helps your laning phase so much more, because there will be situations where you're not actually forced to recall if you have a potion or an Ocean Drake that can help you regenerate, especially in wave states where you have a good wave, where you can punish the enemy by simply staying instead of recalling and potentially letting the enemy team shove you in. I think Ocean Drake is really strong. Not S tier, but I really like getting it in the early game. Then we have Hextech Drake. This Drake is super strong. I think it's probably the strongest Drake of just the element dragons. And the reason being that it has two different stats, meaning that pretty much all champions are either gonna benefit from the ability haste or the attack speed. But on top of that, there are certain champions that benefit from both, and those champions that benefit from both just become super strong through getting this Drake. And I did also find this Reddit post from 2 years ago, before all the Drakes got nerfed. And in this one, we can actually see that Mountain Drake is 3.68% gold value. Meanwhile, Hextech Drake is 1.5k, but keep in mind that not everyone benefits from attack speed and ability haste. Most people just benefit from one or the other. So it's essentially half, but there are those specific champions that benefit from both, and those become super strong. So yeah, S tier for Hex Drake for me personally. Then we have Infernal Drake, and Infernal Drake, I don't know if I want to put it S or A tier. I feel like with the nerfs, it's in A tier, and I would actually put it below Ocean Drake, because when it comes to Infernal Drake, the only situation where I can see that Ocean Drake is super strong is like in team poke compositions, or in compositions where it actually matters in terms of damage. But I feel like for the most part, if you have enough damage to kill, it's not gonna be because you have one Infernal Dragon, or if you have like 2 of them. I feel like then it's just because you're far enough ahead in terms of items that you can simply kill. So I don't really feel like it makes a huge difference. And with the nerfs to it being such a low percentage, I don't really feel like the Infernal Drake is as strong as it used to be. Now, the Soul is very different, but again, we will talk about Soul for a different video. So yeah, for me personally, I'll put it A tier, below Ocean Drake, because I feel like the damage output that you get extra from it is not that high. And it doesn't really make that big of a difference compared to not having it. And you're probably going to win a team fight or lose a team fight regardless of you having more or less of these Infernal Dragons, as long as it's not a soul. So then we have Cloud Drake. Cloud Drake gives you out of combat movement speed, and slow resistance. The out of combat movement speed on paper sounds really nice, and in solo queue it can be quite impactful, being able to move around the map faster, because there's so much chaos happening on the map. But overall, I don't really feel like it's that impactful. Like, you don't really feel the Drake that much, because it's out of combat movement speed and slow resistance. It's kind of like stats that you don't really feel necessarily when you're playing the game. So I'm probably gonna keep that in C tier actually, because yeah, whenever I take it, I don't really feel like there is a big difference, and that comes from a guy who loves to go Ghostblade on a lot of champions like Kha'Zix and Graves, and also plays champions like Poppy, who has like a W that benefits from movement speed. So yeah, not the biggest fan of it. And then we have Chemtech Drake. And I honestly feel like I get Chemtech Drake way more than I get any other Drake. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I always get Chemtech Drake, always get Chemtech Soul, and I am not a big fan of it. Back in the day, before they removed it, I felt like it was super strong, especially the Soul. But nowadays, I really don't really feel like it's that impactful. There are probably situations where it's like really good, but so is the case for every other one of these Drakes. But thinking about just a regular team comp, I don't really feel a big difference when I take this Drake compared to not taking it. And that goes both from having it, but also enemy team having it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that in C tier. So to recap, Elder Drake on top, Hextech Drake at S tier, then Ocean Drake, followed up by Infernal Drake, then Mountain Drake, then Hextech Drake, and Chemtech Drake, I think are the weakest ones. And if you want to see the Soul tier list, then leave a like on this video, leave a comment as well, and yeah, subscribe to not miss out on that video. So I want to say thank you for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.